star so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burning Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. We had I might put I'm pretty sure all of that shit show that happened earlier recorded. And so I might just go ahead and put that in at first. and because it depends on how funny it is. Because I was like, motherfucker, what the fuck is going on over here? Anyway, Tommy, I think dropped out on us. He's on the East Coast, and I think he got off of work and had himself a good time early. And
I think he did. It kind of sounded like he did when I talked to him earlier.
Yeah, he was having a little bit of a tough time putting his thoughts together, and he was in repeater mode. So I was like, it was kind of a good thing that we had technical difficulties, or we might have been on the same point again.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll happen to the best of us.
It will. Yeah. Tommy's a hell of a good guy, but like I said, he's 3 hours ahead of me, so I think he must have got off of work a little early today and just tied one on. Good for him. Good for you. You know, it's but anyhow,
everybody deserves to tie one on every now and again.
I agree. I like that hoodie you're wearing. That's pretty slick. I got my 3/4 zip over there somewhere. I'll
No, there you go. Yeah, they're pretty slick. I like them.
I like, and your old lady is the one that drew the design, right?
She is. Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, she did a good job on that.
She did. The only complaints I have about the one I'm wearing right now, it's got no hoodie pocket.
Oh, no shit.
No shit. It's a complete hoodie. It's got the hood and everything, but no pocket in the front. So you get used to wearing a hoodie, right? And you go to put shit in that pocket, and then you just drop it on the ground. You're like, well, for fuck me.
Yeah. I'll say the same thing, but that's like all of those 3/4 zips. Like none of them have any fucking pockets in them. I like the design if they would just have some fucking pockets.
Yeah, pockets are very handy.
That's like a cowboy go-to. Like I don't care about the fit of a vest. I want to know how many pockets they are and location.
And not that pockets are like everybody's like, oh, you know, pockets are a great thing. Well, I love pockets. My pockets get filled with random shit half the time. I don't even know what's in my pockets, but I like to have them.
Yeah, and if you got the option, and especially if they're in ideal locations, I mean, it's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. Like when you have an inside pocket that doesn't it doesn't interact with the outside pocket on that same side, like that's fucking magical.
It is.
Like when you can put your phone and your Copenhagen on the same side and they don't touch each other, like it's just like, holy shit, that's amazing. I don't care what the rest of it fits like. Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, and then you just wear that one until it just literally falls apart. Because I mean, Wyoming traders, you know, like those things don't hold up very well, but their pocket design is pretty much unmatched.
Awesome.
It's pretty much unmatched.
I wear through one of them vests. I go through one of them vests at least once a year.
Yeah.
Once a year, I'm ordering a new one. But hey, I like the way their pockets are. They fit. They're great. They're awesome. And I mean, why wouldn't you want one?
So you know what? My next Wyoming Traders vest, I'm gonna make this prediction now. I bet that I can get 4 years out of this after I make this slight modification before I ever wear it. Is I'll send it to some leather maker and have them put a leather cover over the pockets.
Yes. If you did that, they would last forever.
I think so, because that's always what goes wrong. Is like there might be a button loop or two that breaks, but it's always my right pocket because that's where my rope sits.
Yeah.
And and so it wears out right there, and the pocket never wears out because you get tired of dealing with the goddamn thing. And this is I don't know if it, for all the non-cowboys listening, they're bored out of their fucking mind. But everybody that works for a living, they know exactly what the fuck we're talking about here. It's so anyway, any of you leather makers out there want to build me a set of pocket covers for a wool vest? I'll give you a month of free advertising.
I'll do the same. Hit us up.
Shit, yeah. Because I think we may have solved a world problem at this table tonight. I mean, we're burning daylight, and you can't see them from the road, and we're solving shit here tonight.
Solving problems.
Yeah. How the fuck you been, man? It's been a couple of weeks since I got to talk to you.
It's been busy. The feedlot's been freaking chaotic. I just had the fiance down for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Which was good. She just got hired onto this place, so she went back to Washington today to get her affairs in order, get set up to get moved out here. So that's cool.
Nice. That's awesome. She waited all winter before she moved up there, and like when you really needed her to keep warm.
Yeah, I had a dog.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, it's good for you, but it seems pretty inconsiderate on her part, you know?
Right? Come when it starts to warm up, not when it's real cold.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, I guess better than not at all. So that works
exactly.
out.
Exactly.
You've been getting a bunch of this moisture.
I mean, we've got a few blizzards here the past few days, but not really. Haven't got any snow really.
So like Nebraska's getting just butt raped, and you guys are just kind of catching the edge of it.
Yeah, Nebraska, Kansas, North and South Dakota are just getting hammered.
That's wild. Like usually you guys are the ones that get hammered up there, right?
Yeah. And it's kind of been the opposite for us this year. I mean, we haven't really had any. I mean, we've had a few bad days, but nothing real serious. About a week ago, we had some bad weather roll through for 2 days, but that was it. Normally our feedlots that we send to in Kansas and Nebraska, normally they're asking us for cattle, and we're like, well, we can't send them.
Yeah.
Because we're shut down due to a blizzard. And it's the opposite way this year. Cattle are ready to go in export pens. Testing's been done. We're ready to go. Let's roll. Let's send these trucks. And they're like, no, don't. Like,
that's crazy. See, and it's kind of, it's weird. It's a flip flop. I mean, we're considered high desert here, and I mean, it's sure enough, it's been fucking dry until about the end of December, and then like holy shit, we got hammered, and it just like keeps coming. You know, like it's been wet. It just, and we had a spell where it got pretty damn cold, but it also, there was only about a week where it didn't get above freezing, and then it got, it get way cold at night, and then it'd warm up to about 40 Fahrenheit, or almost 40 Fahrenheit, just enough to where shit would run off. And, we had, I mean, it's just been, the ground is fucking saturated, and and then we just keep getting moisture. Like every time it starts to dry up, it comes in and dumps. Like we had an inch and a quarter last week, and luckily, like we've started to get a little bit of wind, like, and it hasn't been terrible wind, but like just enough to start to dry shit out. God damn, it's been a mess. We got a manure crew coming in. Just they got 6 trucks and 2 loaders just cleaning pins right now.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get that way right quick here. I mean, the thaw is only, logistically, the thaw is only 2 weeks away.
Yeah. So yeah, you're gonna have you guys are just gonna have what we had, but just delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and see, we didn't. There wasn't very many days where we didn't get above freezing. It's like it would be colder and shit, but by 2:00, it would it'd hit 33, 34, something like that, and you'd have just enough to and on a bright a sunny day you'd get some pretty heavy runoff, and we just had so much freaking moisture at once that like all of our lagoons filled up, and like our big settling pond was full, but and then it just started backing up into the pins, and yeah, it's been a mess.
Yeah, just a fucking mess.
Yeah, it's but we've had a couple of days here the last week that it was just plumb fucking pleasant, and you're like, yeah, it's almost here. Like, it's not here yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, it's on the way.
Yeah, how's the cattle health up there?
Really good, actually, right now. Feedlot health's real good. Cow herd's real good. Everything's falling into place. We're having a good run right now, so that's nice.
Well, how's like did you guys get a bunch of snow before it froze solid?
Not this year, no. We didn't really get very much snow before it froze solid. We got it all after.
Okay, so you didn't have much mud to deal with to freeze, so like you got good conditions, I'd say.
Yeah, our pens are in real good shape right now. Just we're like I say, we're about 2 to 3 weeks to the thaw. So right now it's just kind of get as much bedding, build the bedding packs up as much as we can right now, because once the thaw hits, we won't be able to bed anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's it just gets muddy, shitty.
Well, yeah, it just gets muddy and you just can't get into them pens.
No, your loader doesn't go anywhere. It can't.
No, and we don't we bed with square bales, big square bales through a bale processor and the front wheel assist tractor. And once that front wheel assist tractor can't pull itself through a pen, we just quit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why rut up a pen? Why wreck a pen just trying to bed?
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we've been most of the winter. And but like I said, we got that manure crew running hard, and they're making a lot of progress, and then we're supposed to get some more moisture this weekend, but I don't think it's supposed to be a whole lot, so that'll help. But it's man, it just trying to stay ahead of all that shit. I wish it would have froze hard and just stayed frozen, because then you can at least ride a horse. But man, when it's getting up to where it's thawed and they're making new ruts, and then it freezes down to 0 Fahrenheit, that like it's a fucking treacherous on a horse.
Oh, it is. You'll cripple a horse real quick doing that.
Yeah, you're better off just to get a foot, and it sucks, but like that's what you got to do. Otherwise, I mean, like I said, you'll ruin a horse. They get sore-footed real quick, and if you don't get off them when they're sore-footed, they're gonna be crippled.
Yeah, and right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's been like that last time Tommy was on, I was talking about how I was gonna have a Lainey Wilson ass by the time this winter's over because it just slopping through the fucking mud and shit. Been afoot since December, you know.
Yeah. Well, we're going that way real quick here at the feedlot too, so we'll be afoot pretty quick.
When's your last like real hard freeze up there?
I mean, end of March, beginning of April, we'll probably have one last. You know,
Okay.
it'll probably freeze every night. It'll freeze the top, but once the temperature gets warmed up, it'll freeze the top and underneath. It'll just be like a crust, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Like when it freezes, it's just like yeah, just a little crust, and that's
Yeah. Yeah, like we got a long ways to go till that hits, right? Because the ground still froze. But once it starts warming up, you know, substantially, and I mean, right now they're predicting for the next 2 weeks we're only going to be at like -10 throughout the day. So things are going to start to happen. We're going to start to slowly start thawing, but you know, come April, you'll see the heat hit, and you know, then things are going to get wet and muddy real quick.
yeah. Yeah, then your horses they get crippled up in a different way because they pull a muscle and shit.
Yeah, I'm thinking this year with the feedlot, once we hit the thaw and everything, horses will kind of be put away because, I mean, it'll just turn into feedlot health is so good right now. Cattle are established, so we're hardly treating anything.
Yeah.
So when that thaw hits, horses will kind of be put away. At least mine will be, anyways. Give them a break before calving time hits, and
Yeah.
I'll just go to using dogs.
There you go. See, we it's funny you said that. It's exactly how it was for us this winter is like we had just we had everything just lined out really good. Everything was in like really good shape, and then the weather hit, and it's funny how weather will like those ones that are just right on the margin, it'll just go ahead and take care of that for you. Like you don't have to worry about that little feller making a truck. He just like Mother Nature says, nope, you ain't making it.
Well, you almost want that, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
almost a necessity because, I mean, you spend half the winter keeping some of these calves alive, treating them,
Yep.
retreating them over and over. The drugs are the only thing that are keeping these calves alive, and you're never going to amount to anything. You're never going to get onto a truck. So just hopefully a real cold snap comes along and just kills you
Yep.
off. That's the best thing that could happen.
Yep. It really is. And we had like a pretty rough month death loss wise in January. February was not as bad, but it was still pretty rough. And then like we're getting along a lot better now. But the hell of it was there wasn't any of those cattle that were like missed pulls. Like they were just shitters like that.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're just limping them along because that's the humane thing to do is to give them every chance to live. And you're like, when the first time you see him off the truck, you're like, that fucker ain't gonna make it.
Yeah.
But you gotta try to make him live because that's that's what we're told we're supposed to do. So
Yeah, but it also comes down to, at the end of the day, like, he's been a retreat, you know, over 3 times now. If he's a
mhm,
retreat over 3 times, he's never going to make the truck to slaughter
mhm.
anyhow. So what's the point? You might as well just get the gun out and shoot the fucker.
Yeah, exactly. And you save yourself a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of headache because they're always the ones that you're like, he looks like he's getting better. Like, yeah, I think he
Yeah,
might make it. And then the next day just fell all to shit. And you're
yeah,
like, fuck. I knew it. But like the little fucker give you hope.
Yeah. Are you limp them along? They start to come out of it. You're like, oh yeah, we're winning.
Mm-hmm.
We are winning. The day before he's got to get on a truck, he falls over and dies, and you're like, yep, prick.
Yeah, and then you cut him open, and he's got an abscess this fucking big on his lung, and you're like, why didn't you show that earlier?
Yeah, exactly.
You goddamn son of a bitch! That thing's been building for a while.
Yeah, why didn't you just die when it was cold out like the rest of them?
I know it. It's aggravating, but the funny thing is, those animals, they don't give two shits about what you think. Fuck off. I'm gonna go die on my terms.
Yeah, I will die when I decide to die, and they just die at the most inopportune moment.
Yeah, it's like riding my mare when, like, right when I get to go do something, that requires any sort of like attention from her, she'll stop and take a piss. And you're like, you fucking bitch. You couldn't have done that 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That steer, like, like the first time you treat him, like, this motherfucker ain't gonna make it. And then he, like, yeah, he gets up to there about 800 pounds, and you're like, oh, maybe he's doing all right. Maybe he will make a steer. And then, and then just next day, dead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like he waited the day before he had to get on the truck and goes, no, I'm just gonna die now.
Yeah, I know it. It's a wild world, the feedlot world. Like I grew up, outside ranching and like pretty small scale compared to a lot of folks, but like I saw my share of country and whatnot. But I've been in the feedlot because it pays better, and it's that, like, that check doesn't bounce. And and so, and then I got married and had a kid, and then I was like, well, I guess I'm a feedlot man now because I got a kid to take care of, like, because there was a stretch there where I thought about going just anywhere, just $1,000 a month, whatever, just going. And and then the kid came, and like, no, I guess I'm a feedlot guy. That's what I know.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy world. You can get in those like big corporate yards, and they run through help like me and you run through underwear. Like they just, it's crazy the turnover in some of those big yards.
Oh, it is.
And then, like, it seems, it's just like the bigger the yard you get, like the less, like, I've seen some pretty decent big outfits, feedlot wise, that, like 100,000 head that are fairly clean, but like once you get above a certain point, like you're running on margin, so you only got so many pin cleaners, and man, there is some like awful pin conditions. Like the bigger the yard gets, it's like like it gets, like, we had really good pin conditions at the beginning of the winter, and then like they're pretty awful right now. But I was me and my boss were both talking because we both worked in those, like, 100,000 head plus yards, and I was like, man, I can't imagine this amount of moisture at Grant County feeders, because it would be a fucking just death trap everywhere.
Oh, it'd be real bad, real quick.
Like, your death loss would fucking skyrocket.
Oh yeah, overnight, right? You get that moisture, just start racking them up.
Well, because that manure just expands to like 6 times of what it normally is, and then it's like a quicksand almost.
Yeah, and it just, like, that manure will eat anything from the outside in.
Yep. Yeah, it gets it gets rough. And but I kept thinking, I was like, man, it could be a whole lot worse. We had like I said, our pin conditions were in really, really good shape coming into that. And like everything ran off like it was supposed to. It just eventually ran out of room to go and started backing up.
Yeah, well, with all that moisture, right, it has to go somewhere. Then when your settling ponds are full, it's going to go somewheres, right, and it's going to back up into a pen.
Yeah, and seeing our settling ponds like right up against the river, so like you can't, EPA wise, you can't let that just go into the river. Which at this point, it wouldn't really fucking matter what the sediment and the shit that we're dumping in the river if we would have, like, gotta put that in context. If we would have, it never happened. But like, say we were to cut the berm on that settling pond and just let everything drain off into the river, compared to what the rest of the country is putting into the river, like our shit's not gonna make a lick of difference,
No, not one bit.
But you can't do that. It's not allowed to do that. So, there should be some sort of exemption though, like make a little gate on your settling pond. Like if you're next to a river, like if you get a ton of moisture like that and a lot of runoff, you should be able to just open that gate and just let it drain into the river, because there's already, like, it's not making a dent in what's already in the river, and it'll make your pin conditions so more humane.
Yeah, that river, when it's like that, it's already dirty, right? It's already stirring up so much mud and shit. It's already dirty. So what you're gonna dump into it isn't gonna matter. It's gonna be diluted. 5 miles downstream.
Yeah, and who knows? Like on our case, we got 100,000 acres or so of BLM, or community pastures, what you guys call it, right? Like crown land or whatever.
Yeah.
But we so it's and it's open. It's all just sagebrush desert, and it's open to like a lot of people take 4-wheelers and shit out there, and when that shit runs off, like, who the fuck knows what's going in the river? Because I've rode my horse out there plenty to put some miles on them, and there's a ton of just garbage from God knows when. I mean, like from like you're talking maybe from the 1870s across there. Like, who the fuck knows what's washing into the river off the desert? What the fuck is a little cow shit gonna do?
Oh, exactly.
But we can't do that. So instead, we let our pin conditions get just like we've shrunk capacity quite a little bit here lately, just so like we can rotate cattle around when pin conditions get too bad. And you're just like, man, if we could have just let that initial, moisture just drain off into the river along with everything else, we'd have been so much better off.
Oh yeah.
Like it wouldn't have been this wouldn't have been a bad winter at all. Like we'd have had to clean the drovers alleys, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, you look at a city like out here, like Winnipeg, or a city like New York. How many thousands of gallons is a city like New York pumping into the ocean?
Oh yeah, no shit.
So what little we'll put into a river, I mean, has no effect.
It's fucking amazing how those city folks think. Like they always bitch at us about polluting and shit. Because they one time drove past a feedlot and were turned off by the smell, so they're like, "Oh, you guys pollute everything." And then you drive into one of those big fucking cities and you can just see the smog hanging in there from miles out.
Yeah.
And then they all live on top of each other. The streets smell like piss. And and then it depends on how liberal the city is. There'll be just literal piles of human shit in the middle of the street. And like, you're gonna give me shit about polluting? Fuck off, guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, exactly. And he likes a hamburger from McDonald's just as much as the next person, right?
Right. Right.
Where do you think that hamburger comes from, asshole?
Yeah, I know it's fucking insane. Like people have got so out of touch with the food. Like I don't want to go back to the Stone Age by any means. Like I like technology. It treats me pretty well. I mean, like
Oh,
we get to do shit like this, and it's pretty fucking rad.
technology. Yeah, technology is a great thing if used right, but it's a tool, right? At the end of the day, it comes down to a tool. So many people look at technology nowadays as a necessity. We need it. I need it. I need my phone. I need internet. I need this. I need that. Well, you don't fucking need it. It makes life a lot handier, I will admit, yes. But you don't need it.
No. Well, and there's this thing with society, like before society, we were all just hunter gatherers and kind of nomads. I mean, and that's just how like all of humankind was before society started. But once society started, it started with like learning how to farm and domesticating animals. And
Yeah.
once that happened, like there became like an understanding that was like, okay, here in the cities, we're gonna build shit, and out there, you're gonna grow our food, and we're gonna make shit for you, and you're gonna feed us. And
Yeah.
and it's been a touch and go relationship all the time, and there's always been like the tension there, urban versus rural, but there's for the most part been an understanding is like we'll just leave each other the fuck alone. And now
But
we've got a bunch of fucking idiots trying to tell us how to do our job, and we know it ain't gonna work, but they're the ones that have the power.
yeah, but you see the problem is though, right? Um, you know, even 20 years ago in the cities, um, 20 years ago, if you lived in a city, you had a tie to somebody in the ranching community, somebody in the agriculture community, whether a farmer or a rancher or whatever you may be, you had a tie to that person. On the weekends, we go to grandpa's farm, we go see
Mm-hmm.
grandpa or whatever. And now it's turned into a generational thing, right? Where mom and dad grew up in the city, their kids grew up in the city, and now their kids are growing up in the city. And where does your food come from? The grocery store.
Yep.
Dumb shit. It doesn't come from the grocery store.
Well,
They don't
and,
grow
and
it in the back.
and then on the flip side, like we don't have enough of like rural people spending time in the city and then coming back to the rural country, like they're like so there's that same disconnect about how our shit gets made as opposed, like the city folks on how the food gets to their table. And then there's just idiots all the way around that like like they want to do away with agriculture. Like most of the city folks don't know how their food is made, but they by and large are like, I don't care, just make sure it's here. Like just make sure I can buy it.
Yeah.
But then you get the freaks that are just like, no, you can't do it that way. And they're
Yeah.
like, and we're like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like the way you want us to do it doesn't work.
Oh, exactly.
It's fucking insane. Like they still want to eat, and they still expect us to somehow provide food for these people, but at the same time, like completely just fucking us in the ass on how we get to that point.
Yeah, and it's technology, right? That's part of the
Yeah.
problem, right? That is causing people to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you get these wing nuts that are that way. They get on Facebook, they get on TikTok, they get on everything and spread their ideas. And oh, they got a really good point. No, he's just a fucking idiot.
Yeah. No, and then something like that goes viral because it always does. Like PETA is really good at at making shit like that viral. And but what they don't know is they don't show, like, they always show some poor Mexican fella kicking a Holstein calf in the head, you know.
Yeah.
But they don't show the 2 hours leading up to that point where he's trying to make this calf suck and doing everything properly, and the calf just wants to fucking die, and his job is to make sure that thing doesn't die, and he finally just loses his shit and kicks him in the head. You know, like we've all fucking been there. But they don't show that. They just show the part where he kicks him in the head. And then because of that, all these companies shut everything down. They're like, no pictures, no nothing. And then everybody on the outside of that goes like, wait, what are you trying to hide? And we're not trying to hide anything. We're just trying to not get caught with our pants down with videos that are taken way out of context.
Yeah.
And so then, but at the same time, you know, there's a lot of people who are like, makes sense, but sure seems like you're hiding something, you know?
Yeah. Well, and when
you can't argue with them.
No, with people like that, they go, well, you're trying to hide something. Well, asshole, come out and spend a day with me.
Yeah.
You know, actually come out here.
There's a lot of small operators that will be willing to do that, but when you get in the big corporate type, fuck off. You're not. No, you know how those tours go, is like you show them this, and you don't deviate from this path because we don't want any more publicity than necessarily possible. And like I said, we're not really hiding something, but it sure seems like it when you just like. You know, it's like taking a tour of North Korea. They're going to show you that all the stores are just stocked with goods, but it's only that store. None of the other stores got shit.
Yeah.
And that's what it kind of feels like. Even when I was given those tours, that's what it kind of felt like to me. And we didn't have anything to hide. You know, there was the railer pen with shitty cattle, which you don't necessarily want to show to the public, but then again, maybe the public needs to see that and like, hey, but also like give an explanation with it. Be like, hey, this steer here has been treated 6 times, and here was his weight every single time that he got treated, and you can see that he's steadily declining in health, and we're trying not to just lose all the money on him. We're trying to get him onto the truck next week, because that's when he clears his medicine date, and maybe we'll only lose $200 on him.
Oh, exactly. And the thing is, right? You know, people are the same way, right? We put people in old folks' homes. We keep people alive.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different than a cow, right?
Yeah.
We try and keep that cow alive for as long as we can. To make a profit off her. That's our end game, is a profit. You know, drug companies, that's their end game, is keeping people alive, right? The longer they can keep somebody alive, the longer they're going to make money off of that individual.
Yep.
So.
Well, and then on the flip side, all those drugs that the drug companies sell, like, as long as they still got a patent on them, they're expensive as shit. Like they cost a lot of money. So you don't just go dumping Draxin down an animal all willy nilly, because that shit costs a lot of money. So like there's a reason why we use a thermometer and shit in the feedlot. Like you don't just treat everything that comes through the chute. Otherwise, your closeout's going to look like shit because you spent too much money in medicine. And that's why you train your pen riders. That's why you train your hospital crew to diagnose, and then also make a good judgment call as to whether an animal actually needs medicine, or maybe they just need like we give vitamin C with all of our respiratory treatments, and maybe they just need a shot of vitamin C, which only costs 20 cents as opposed to $20. And then more often than not, they don't have to come back through the chute. They were just kind of feeling a little puny that day, and you give them some vitamins, it jump started their immune system, and they kicked the bug. Yeah, we try everything not to give those animals antibiotics because that shit costs money.
No, exactly.
And also, the more you use it, the more resistant the bacteria becomes too. Like they get to.
And I think we're already seeing that. I don't think, from what I've seen, anyways, and this is just me. From what I've seen from new calves coming in, some of these new calves are resistant. You can fill them up with Draxxin, and it doesn't mean anything. Draxxin is going to do fuck all.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's especially when you get in the corporate type yards, because they bid out all their contracts, years ahead of time. So it just depends on who got the pharmaceutical contract as to which drug you're going to use. And like it's a good thing to change up your regimen every now and then too, because all of a sudden your go-to drug is not going to fucking work because all the bacteria in your area is already built up a tolerance to it. So like it's a good thing every couple of years or so to just change up your primary antibiotic.
Yep, and I think we can still get our hands on it. It's a little tougher. Lots of companies don't want to use it anymore. But Mycotil was awesome. Mycotil
I like Mycotil.
We can get it here on the feedlot. They don't want to. It's kind of one of them deals. If you request for it, if I go to the boss and go, I want Mycotil, they'll bring it in for me. But nobody else here at the feedlot can request for Mycotil, and they'll just be like, yeah, fuck off, we're not using it.
Yeah.
But Mycotil was a phenomenal antibiotic.
Oh, it really is. And you gotta take all of this with a grain of salt, because it is a pharmaceutical vendor trying to sell you a product. So they'll claim it's not nearly as dangerous as it's made out to be. And I think that's true. But also, I don't trust them when they say you've got to have a full CC to have that like cardiac reaction. I don't buy that. I bet it's quite a bit less than that, because if you've ever veined anything with Mycotil, like they're instantly dead.
Yeah, I have done that once. I know for a fact, just residue on a Mycotil needle, because I stabbed myself once by accident. Got in a wreck. Things happened, and caught myself with the Mycotil needle, and it's like a straight shot of adrenaline. You're like, wow, things inside of me are happening. Like the thumper is fucking moving.
It's kind of like cocaine, ain't it?
It is.
Because I've never stabbed myself with a Mycotil needle, but I've licked my fingers plenty of times, and my tongue will go numb.
Yeah. Or even you get Mycotil on your fingers and you can taste it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like that taste doesn't go away. That's the alcohol base of it, but
but if you can get something on your fingers and instantly taste it, yeah, that shit's fairly potent.
Yeah, exactly. So like when they say like they claim that you have to have like a cc or more, or a milliliter or more to for it to actually kill you, I don't buy that.
I don't buy that at all.
But I also don't buy the because I know from experience that like the old wives' tale, like if even a pinprick of it will kill you. Like, no, it won't, but it'll, like I said, it'll make you feel like you're on cocaine for a minute.
It will.
Yeah, it's
it will. And I think they did that, they started saying that just to make people more aware of it. Hey, this is dangerous.
and also, how much money do you think the people that make Draxon? I think they're I think Mycatil is Merc, right?
Yeah.
And then Draxon would be Zoetis. How much money do you think Zoetis spent doing ads? Just like, hey, it's safer than Mycatil.
Yeah, you won't die. And I don't even buy that neither, right? This shit wasn't made for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like really the only one that was made that really crosses between humans and cattle is like your penicillin or like I think tetracycline does. And then ivermectin. That's about it.
Yeah.
But these other the other like Draxon and like XNL and Exceed and that, like all those things, like they're designed for, like I said, not humans.
I mean, you shoot yourself up by accident with a little bit of Exceed, XNL, whatever it is, you're probably gonna have a bad day.
Yeah, it's gonna burn like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's not gonna feel very good.
And Banamine will make you feel pretty good if you put it in your coffee, but it also just wreck your liver.
Yeah, Banamine works too underneath the tongue. If you just get like a little bit, put a little bit on your finger and stick it underneath your tongue, toothache gone.
Have you dealt with the Banamine pour-on yet?
I have.
Just don't wear gloves when you're treating with Banamine pour-on, and yeah, you get the skin absorption and like your fingers get kind of hot, and then all of a sudden that painkiller hits, and then you're just like, oh, yep, let's go. What are we doing today, fellas?
Yeah, I'm feeling no pain.
Yeah, and like it doesn't lift you up, but all of a sudden you're just like, shit doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. What was this story you were gonna tell me earlier?
Oh, so we had this blizzard roll in. My fiance was down, and she's from Washington State, right? Seattle on the coast.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't keep the cleanest house. Just I've been living by myself all winter, so you can imagine how my house looked.
Yeah.
It actually really wasn't that bad. There was just a lot of empty bottles and a lot of beer cans. So she gets the bright idea. Well, I'm gonna clean your house today. All right, whatever. I'm gonna go to work. Okay. So I go to work, and this blizzard rolls in on us at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's bad. About 3 in the afternoon, I get done work, whatever time it was. I get done work, and I mean, it was just one of them days where just get the bare necessities done of the feedlot and get the fuck out of here before we get snowed in.
Yeah.
So I pull into the yard, get out of my truck, walk into the house, and she's got laundry piled up by the door. What are you doing? Well, we got to go to town. Because in my house I live in, I don't have a washer and dryer in it yet. I go to town to do my laundry. And she goes, we got to go to town. Woman, do you see it outside? Like, it isn't very nice at all. I'm not going to town. We're going to stay home all day for the rest of the day. No, we're going to town. She says, no, we're going to stay. Well, fiance out on the trip, all right, fine. We'll go to town. So, jump in the pickup, load all this laundry up, head to town. We get to town, and she looks at me, And I mean, she's texting her friends and everybody, telling them about the great time she's having and everything. We get to town, she looks at me and she goes, "See, that wasn't so bad." Really? I don't think you were driving it. It's bad enough. The wind.
It's a good thing we're doing laundry because I need to change drawers.
Yeah, exactly. The wind's blowing the right way, so when I hit a snowdrift, you can't see fuck all. So, and I will admit, I didn't have any clean clothes in the house at all. So she starts doing laundry. So, okay, whatever. Doing laundry, we're there now. Get up, done all washing the clothes, and now she's drying them. Well, I walk out to the truck for, I can't even remember what I went to the truck for. Went to the truck for something, and when I pulled into town, 2 blocks away, I could see the elevator, the grain elevator. I go out to the truck, and I can't see the elevator anymore. I can't even see a block down the road. I walk back into the laundromat and look at her, and I'm like, "Woman, we're leaving." Well, the clothes aren't dry. I don't care. We are leaving right now. Like, load it up. We're gone. Well, it's not that bad outside. We are leaving. I'm leaving. I'm going to take the clothes and head back to the house. The only question is, are you getting in the truck and coming? Well, I'm going to wait, she says, till the laundry's done. No, I'm leaving. The only way you're going to get home is if you're walking, because this truck is leaving with or without you. Get in the truck, get halfway home, and she looks at me and she goes, "Oh, wow, it's bad." I'm like, "No shit."
Oh, yeah. Well, like when you guys are pretty flat where you're at, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. When that snow hits and the wind whips up, like it's different down on that flat country. Like you can't see shit.
No, and that day, we had a 75 mile an hour wind.
Oh fuck.
So, I mean, it was snowing. It was snowing and blowing the snow. So, it's like, yeah, we're fucking leaving. I don't want to be stranded on the side of the road.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, that's you guys get some weather up there though. Like that's different country. It makes me wonder how the fuck you bastards ever settled up there. Like
Just
I don't
fucking retards.
it's yeah, it's I spent a winter in Montana and that was bad enough for me. And it's like it's still not Canada cold. Like
Yeah.
Montana's about as cold. Montana and Minnesota is about as cold as it gets in the lower 48. But even then, like it's still not Canada cold. Like it's just
No.
Yeah.
And then she kind of got mad at me. She goes, "Well, you'd go to town just for a box of beer. A box of beer is a lot different than laundry. I am willing to risk my life for a box of beer and a can of Copenhagen. Okay. Laundry, I'm not so keen on risking my life for."
You guys have like the government owns all the liquor stores up there, right?
Yeah.
So like, does every town have one?
Every town will have a liquor store or a vendor.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they have it's like a license, I guess, like just liquor license or whatever. Okay. Yeah, so I'd heard that somewhere, like the big government liquor stores, like it's almost like a warehouse, is what I heard.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, you gotta have a license down here, but Nevada's really loose on that. Like you can just walk into the convenience store and you can get gas, a 30-pack and a fifth all at the same place.
Yeah, that is awesome. When I was down in Washington at my fiance's place, I mean, you can go to the liquor store or not liquor store. You can go to the gas station, buy your diesel,
Mm-hmm.
and buy a 24 beer. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, and Nevada is even cooler than Washington, because like literally most of your, like if not all of your gas stations have not only have beer, but they have hard liquor there too.
Oh, a lot of them in Washington do too. And
Oh, okay.
It's funny, right? Because you go in there and you'll buy your beer and your fuel, and they'll look at you and they go, driving is illegal. I guess in Washington they have to tell you that you're not allowed to drink and drive. I'm like, doesn't that kind of defeat the fucking purpose? I mean, you're selling fuel and I'm buying a box of beer. I'm probably not gonna wait till I get to wherever I'm going before I crack a beer. The fuck?
The temptation is too much.
Yeah.
Besides, if I put it in the bed, it's gonna freeze solid, and then I gotta wait till the morning to drink the damn thing.
Yeah, like if you don't want people to drink and drive, don't sell beer or liquor at a gas station.
See, and here I am in Nevada. Like, literally, there's no time limit. Like, if you go to a gas station that's open 24/7, you can buy liquor and beer in that gas station. And I've done this before, and I've seen it done before. 7 o'clock in the morning, somebody will walk out with a 30-pack of beer, and nobody even gives them a second look. It just like it's Nevada, because either they're like coming from the casinos and they're just continuing the party, or it might be the cowboy that hasn't been to town all month and he got his business done early. Now he is getting supplies for the road. Yeah. And so like nobody gives you a second look when you walk out of the convenience store with booze at 6-7 o'clock in the morning. Nope, like nobody even looks at you twice.
Yeah,
it's wild. Like it's I love it. It's but on the flip side, their DUI laws are pretty fierce.
Yeah, our DUI laws out here are nothing. Now they're nothing to be fucked with, right?
Yeah. I hear they don't let people across the border if they've had a DUI. Is that true?
I mean, you got to go through a little work. You got to go through a little paperwork, but I mean, they'll still let you across if you fill out the right paperwork and kind of go about it right.
I see. Well, I've got a DUI and I'd like to go to Canada someday, so that's good to know.
I mean, I've had a DUI, right? And they let me across the line.
US doesn't give a shit. Like, you can just come right across the border. I don't think anybody gives two fucks. So,
but yeah, honestly, I'm a Canadian citizen, right? I've never had a problem crossing the border down into the States. They're just like, yeah, fucking give her. We really don't give a shit. Just go. All right.
No,
cool.
it's essentially open borders, dude. Like,
yeah. Coming home into Canada, I've had a harder time coming back home than I have going somewhere else. You're coming home and passport. So you hand the guy your passport. What's your business in Canada? I don't know.
Everything.
I just handed you a Canadian passport. Might mean I fucking live here.
All of my businesses in Canada, like every bit of it.
Yeah, pretty much. And they just give you the hardest time. Well, why are you coming back? Dumb shit, I fucking live here. I want to go home.
See, I wish we'd have a little bit of that, but
yeah, what's your reasoning? Shouldn't you be doing this to somebody that's not a Canadian citizen instead of fucking me?
Right, like run it through your little computer. Beep boop boop. Oh yeah, that checks out. This is a Canadian citizen. Let's go.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah.
Have a nice trip. Go home.
Just assholes, huh? The Mounties are just a bunch of pricks.
Our Mounties and border services, they're all run by the liberal government, right? So they're all just fucked. And that's the liberal government and Mr. fucking Fancy Socks.
That fucking guy. I did a episode the other day with my buddy on our politics show, and I was like, honestly, like, because they're really trying to get us to war in Ukraine. I'm just like, can we just invade Canada, because we don't have to take over Western Canada. Like, Western Canada will just join us. And I was like, Lindsey Graham, who's this little gay dude from South Carolina, he's a senator, but he's always pushing for a war. But that motherfucker knows he's never going to have to fight it either. But he's also just gay as shit and won't admit it. Like, I have no problem with him being gay. I want you to admit it. Like, because, like, just stop pretending that you're not. Like, it's obvious that he's gay. So, like, here we go. We invade Canada and then let Lindsey Graham fuck Trudeau to death in the street. Just rape him to death in the streets of Ottawa. And then
I didn't see that.
And then, we'll just annex Canada, and then you don't have to worry about the fucking Brits anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you take Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, and we'll join.
There we go. That's what I was saying, too. Like, it probably BC as well, right?
I mean, they're kind of a fucking gray area.
Except for Vancouver. Like, the rest of BC will join.
Yeah, we don't want fucking Vancouver.
You can give it to Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle can have that shithole.
That's how we feel about Las Vegas here in Nevada. It's like California can have Vegas, and we don't want them. But that's where everybody lives in Nevada. Like, 75% of the state population lives in Vegas.
Yeah. Well, the stupid fucking thing is now I believe it's across Canada. I don't think it's just a BC thing. I think it's just it's across Canada. It could be a BC thing, but now you're allowed to have under so many ounces or so many grams or whatever the fuck it is of heroin, cocaine. Like, drugs are legal.
Yeah. Huh. They did that in Oregon too. I'm not opposed to that, but also they also, like, it's like you have such a big welfare system too. And
our welfare system here in Canada is like, it's fucking ridiculous. It's so stupid.
Yes. So then you just, like, incentivize people to become drug addicts.
Oh, exactly. That's all it's doing. You're just enabling it. You're just allowing it to happen.
Like, you'll have a lot less drug addicts when they don't have that lifeline, you know? Like, if they have to actually go make money, they don't do as much heroin.
Well, and the thing is, with it out here too now, the criminals have all the rights.
Yeah.
You really can't punish a criminal anymore. There was a guy in Ontario. 3 people broke into his house and he shot one of them dead. And now this guy is up for murder charges. Excuse me?
Yeah.
You broke into a law-abiding citizen's house that got his guns the right way. He did everything he needed to do, everything the government told him he needed to own these guns. He did. Mm-hmm. He's a law-abiding citizen. 3 guys break into his house, and he's taking care of his mom. They kicked in the front door, so obviously their intentions aren't very good, and he shot the one of them. Motherfucker, you just fucked around and found out.
Yeah. But now they're charging that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, same thing down in Arizona. This guy, rancher, he ranches right on the border, and it's a high, like, illegal immigrant I don't know why you fuckers aren't trying to cross the border into the US. Like it must just be, I guess, decent enough in Canada where you don't have to try it. But anyway, like this is a high traffic area for illegals coming over the southern border. And he found a bunch of guys, or a bunch of people on his property, and he hollered at them, and they hollered back, and he like shot over their head, or he thought he did anyways, but he ended up hitting one of them, killed him. But they're charging the motherfucker for murder. And like, well, they're in the country illegally, and they're on his property. Like, goddamn, man, like, what the fuck? And the guy that he killed had been deported like 5 fucking times.
Yeah, that should be pretty cut and dry. Fuck around and find out.
Yeah, but instead, he'll probably win. I mean, I don't see that he'll get convicted, but still, he has to go through that whole fucking court process. Pay his lawyers and whatnot, have his life fucking ruined, because somebody trespassed on his property.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. It's fucking wild. And yeah, and if that had been the hell of it is, if that had been like a white meth head, like nobody would have said a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's fucking wild.
Oh, it is. It is. I'll be right back.
Let's I was gonna say I gotta take a leak, and so we'll end that for the main podcast. We'll come back for Patreon. So
sounds good. I'll be right back.
All right. Move your ass. We're burning daylight.
Your eyes up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. We'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right. Just together, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done